15-20 minutes into the drive, this glow plug light comes back on. Car goes into limp mode. I pulled the car to the shoulder. The car died. It wouldn't start back up. I was able to get it started after a couple minutes of sitting on the side of the road. It was in limp mode. I was able to limp it back home. I'm gonna swap cars. I'm gonna go into the other car and take that. And when I get back, I'm gonna have to figure this out. I'm driving the speed because the Porsche had an issue on the highway. Stalled out, power turned off, all the dashboard lights kicked on, lost power steering. I had to wrestle it to the shoulder. Like, damn, I just did the fuel filter on this car and now there's something going on. So I shut the car off, pulled the key out, prayed to my God, put the key back in, cranked it for a good like 10-20 seconds, fired up, threw the thing in drive, and drove to home. And I did the fuel filter. I didn't purge the fuel system of air after putting a new fuel filter in. I was doing some research, and it either could be a clogged fuel filter. The fuel filter that I put in could have been clogged because it was sitting in my garage for a good month before I installed it. Or it could be a catastrophic failure. The fuel pump grenaded and threw metal shrapnels into the fuel system, and then you got to replace the whole fuel system. I hopped in this car to continue my errands. I'm going to check on the Porsche. I'm going to hope that it starts. I'm going to drive it over to the shop, and I'm going to have them take a look. I put about 10,000 miles on that fuel filter, so I changed the fuel filter, and it looked kind of gunked up. I didn't siphon out any of the fluid in the canister. I just popped the new filter in, and then I drove it for about 100 miles, no problem. At the end of my 30-minute drive is when it started acting up. The Speed 3 is a great car. It's fun. It sounds great. I've been sitting in this car for 2 hours now, and my back hurts. I'm sore. I'm getting restless. Here is that old new fuel filter. This is the new fuel filter that got dirty in my garage when I was doing all of the fluids, the oil, the transfer case, the transmission fluid, yada yada. I picked it up, I looked at it, and then I put it down, and I forgot about it until a couple weeks later. Right there, it's like dirty. It's like black. That's where a little bit of oil got on from my fingertips and stuff. So I would highly recommend not doing what I did, saving yourself all the headache. Do it the right way the first time. Update on the Porsche. I've driven it for a couple hundred miles. Even though it was a new fuel filter, I made a mistake. I had the fuel filter open and it was sitting in my garage. And while it was sitting in the garage, dust, debris, particles probably got on it. Oil on the filter material. But since replacing the new fuel filter with an even newer, brand new, clean fuel filter, I haven't had any issues. So far so good. I'll report back if there's any fuel system issues.